all the games I used to play in my younger, wilder days. The game of clubs and tees had never crossed my mind. But after some discussion with my closest, dearest friends, I decided that...
Welcome into the Turn Fantasy Golf Podcast. My name is Andrew Putters. I'm here with my buddy, senior editor at Rotoballer.com, Joe Nicely. And 2021 is here. We were able to put 2020 behind us. Let's get rid of that old thing. Let's go, Joe. Like I said, Joe Nicely, my partner in crime, the senior golf editor at Rotoballer.com. Rotoballer's got a lot of things coming to us in 2021. Go ahead and hit that early, Joe. What we got going on in 2021 at Rotoballer?
Yeah, man, really excited for the new golf season. Since Rotoballer kind of handed me the reins over there back in 2019, tried to improve every year. And this year, our premium package, we're really excited. We're adding showdown articles. My guy Spencer's going to be handling those. So really encourage you to get over there and sign up for our Rotoballer PGA Premium Package. It's $99. That's the whole season, takes you to the Tour Championship. You can use promo code NICE, N-I-C-E, and that'll give you 10% off that. But we got amazing content. Lineup Optimizer, PGA DFS Research Station, that's got ownership projections, strokes gained, course history, anything you need all in one spot. Josh Bennett does an amazing course breakdown every week, and Spencer does amazing betting articles. So we really hope you'll check it out. We think it's a great deal. It winds up being a couple bucks a week, the price. So we think it's well worth that. Tons of great content, and hope you'll go check it out.
Absolutely. I guarantee you're not going to see an all-in-one plethora of information like you're going to get at rotoballer.com anywhere else in the country. So make sure you check that out and also use the promo code NICE. So like I said, 2021 is here. If y'all didn't check out last episode, go check it out. We brought in a friend from the Fantasy Golf Pod and the Preferred Lines podcast, Chad, from way up in Minnesota. We got him on the show. He was you could tell he was a little colder up there than it was here. Anyway, we had him on to preview the 2021 season, see who we liked and stuff. Let's go ahead and get into 2021. First tournament, it's always kind of interesting because we're over here on the East Coast. It gets dark at 5 o'clock, and they don't get started till about 5 o'clock our time. So first tournament is the Sentry Tournament Champions, played at the Plantation Course at Kapalua Resort on the island of Maui, Hawaii. So what we know about this course, they played there they played this tournament there for 1999. So this is the 21 year playing. It's a par 73. We don't see this anywhere else on tour that I know of. 75.96. As far as course goes, it was built in 53. There's been a redo not too long ago. Bermuda grass across the board. We know that. What we usually see is weather conditions, usually wet and windy there every year, especially windy. It rains a lot in Hawaii, so you're going to see some of that with them. So just by saying that, I mean, wet, windy, par 73, 75.96. This tournament has to favor the Bombers. So just course alone, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, man, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Huge drives at Kapalua, kind of what it's famous for. We see monster yardage off the tee, and there's drastic elevation changes, like you said, really breezy over there. So we're going to see some massive drives. Bryson De Chambeau and a couple other guys, you're probably going to see some 400-plus yard drives this week. The fairways are massive. They're very, very wide. These guys can fire away. Normally we see the course rank as one of the easiest on the schedule. Last year it wasn't quite as easy, kind of middle of the pack last year. So the course designers, Core and Crenshaw, kind of worked to firm it up a little bit, make it a little bit tougher for these guys. But overall, just going to be a fire away birdie fest, make a ton of putts, bomb it down there. So it's going to be really fun, man. Kind of a laid back way to start the year off, and really excited, really looking forward to it.
That's right. Past champions in the field. We'll just go down the board here. Justin Thomas, defending champion, shot 14 under 278 last year. Xander, also in the field. Xander Schauffele, former winner. DJ, two-time winner. Sergio won it back in 2002. Patrick Reed in 2015. So That is our two-time winner JT, two-time winner DJ. Then you have Xander Sergio Reed. That is the only past champions in the field. That doesn't necessarily mean other than I think you got to love past history somewhat. So past champions. We got 45 people in this field, 43 total. You got 5 past champions, so it's tough. It's a tough week, starting out because this is a no cut event, 43 players. It's similar to the event that we left you on. Well, the Tour Championship just has 30 players, very similar style. But we're going to be needing birdie makers. So we'll just go from the top down. We'll jump right into this field, Joe. We'll just stay 10K and above here. You got three of the 5 past winners: DJ, JT, Rom, De Chambeau, Shoffley. Where are you at there in TK and above?
Hard not to love them all, man. Really, when you get to diving in, all these guys are top flight players, elite players. Most of them have great course history. But my eyes immediately go up to DJ. I think just kind of getting the feel around the DFS industry that kind of the train of thoughts that DJ is going to take a step back this year. Tough to disagree with that in a way because hard to imagine he keeps the pace up that he closed out 2020 with. But DJ's a world-class player. He's won every year. He's been on tour since 2008 except for 1 year. He won this tournament twice. He's a beast. So I'm looking at ownership. It's very early as we're recording this, but as the week goes on, I'm looking at ownership. Everybody's kind of lukewarm on DJ. I won't hesitate at all to hop in there. I feel like he's going to continue to play really, really well this year. Drop down below him, and the guy everybody's kind of talking about is Justin Thomas. Huge things expected for him in 2021. Won twice last year, won this tournament last year. But you feel like he left 2020 kind of disappointed, maybe a little mad that he didn't win a major. Finished first on the PGA Tour in strokes gained tee to green, but the putter was cold. I think he finished 112th in strokes gained putting. That was the story a lot of weeks with JT. But you got to figure he's very, very comfortable here and can play well. So those two up at the top kind of feel like a little bit tier above, though John Rahm's played really well in this tournament. Kind of the news with him, a big equipment change. Saw that today. He's going to Callaway, leaving TaylorMade, who's been with his whole pro career. So that's kind of an interesting little nugget. We don't know. We've seen that negatively affect some guys before. So it'll be interesting to see how Rahm handles that. But he's played amazing golf and has played well here. And then Bryson De Chambeau, man, he's going to fire away at this golf course. It always comes down to if he can make some putts. He's going to be hitting a ton of wedges on this golf course on several short par fours. Going to be able to get to the par fives. And then Xander, man, unbelievable course history. Lost in a playoff here last year to JT. Should have won the tournament. 3-putted the 72nd hole last year. And the year before that, he did win. He beat Gary Woodland. So Xander's course history is amazing. You feel like he's going to be pumped up for 2021. So there's not a player you don't love above 10 up there, Andrew. you got any favorites anywhere you're leaning?
Well, right out of the gate, I like we just already said that we're a lot of people think that DJ is going to take a step back this year, and not necessarily us either. However, we know he's by far the most talented player. Even his B game is probably top 5 in the world. However, if you look over the last 5 years, he's really never had a letdown here. Considerably. I mean, tied 10th and 16. I mean, you kidding me? Is that the worst you're going to do up here, DJ? Is tied for 10th? However, if we're playing him at 11,000, we got to expect him to finish first. Yeah, I think you got to pick the winner to win to do okay in DFS this weekend. So, I mean, we have to think that he's going to win. So we have to basically, if we're not picking a winner in this 10K spot, we're not picking anybody. So, in saying that, we're not going to go value at all at the top. We're going winner only. And for the price, I'm picking Xander at 10K. For the price, you're going to get that extra 1,000 or extra 700 depending on who you pick. And also, I like the fact that he lives in Southern California. I know they're all practicing in the off season. However, he lives in Southern California. Not sure about his personal life, but we know he's not married and has no children. We're here in East Tennessee, and I've been stuck in. No, I ain't gonna say begrudgingly stuck in the house, but I've been stuck in the house for 4 straight days over this long weekend, and really getting outside just was not in the cards for me. And I know that these guys are preparing differently than that. I'm not saying that. However, I'm on Xander. I'm Team Xander this week, 10K.
Yeah,
For the
it's
price.
tough not to love Xander every week, honestly, but especially on this course where he's been so good, and you feel like he's going to come into this year fired up. Had a lot of near misses last year, wasn't able to grab a win in 2020, so you feel like he's going to really be motivated in 2021. This golf course is perfect for him, and his results show that.
Absolutely. And most likely, I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I'm putting together teams this week, I'm going on course history alone. I'm not going to, recent form and all that. I mean, I understand that we've talked about DJ maybe taking a step back or JT not quite reaching his level of what dominance that he should be. But I'm going. I feel like we can go 100% across the board course history here because, I mean,
yeah,
same players play well here every year. It seems like.
Yeah, it's tough too because you got the X factor of all these guys are coming off a layoff.
Mm-hmm.
Some weeks we will judge a guy that's been off 2 or 3 weeks while other guys have been playing. We always want to kind of lean towards recent form, but we don't have that option this week. We're kind of guessing and hoping, and everybody's in the same boat. Nobody's played in quite a while. So that's the X factor this week. You are guessing a little bit, but I hear you. It's a nice week to lean on course history.
Absolutely. So let's move on down the price point then. 98 Cantlay. Let's go to 9,000 and above. Cantlay, Reed, Simpson, Hovland, Matsuyama. Very interesting group here. Me and you always love Cantlay, just because of the stud that he is. Patrick Reed, however, plays good. He's got a couple of runner-ups and a win here. So where are you at in the 9,000s?
Yeah, like you said, also a lot to love here. If we're looking at course history, Patrick Reed's tough to ignore. Lost in a playoff here last year to JT. Has another runner-up. Cantlay's also played extremely well here. I think I'll lean on ownership on these two because I like both. I like their upside, and I'm going to keep an eye on ownership. Going to play the ownership game a lot this week, honestly. 42 guys in the field, no cut. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit contrarian in spots where I can. I'll keep an eye on Cantlay's ownership. I feel like he might go under owned this week. Reed, I feel like it's going to be pretty popular because of the course history, but I do really like him. He makes a ton of birdies. You just kind of feel like you're always guessing with Reed statistically. Webb always comes to play. It seems like no matter the layout or the course, the guy just shows up. Victor Hovland's coming off a win at Mayakoba. This is going to be his debut here, so that's a little bit more of an unknown. But he's a tremendous ball striker, and you feel like these long par fours, par fives, you feel like he's going to be able to rack up birdies. And then a guy that I'm very, very interested in, Andrew, we talk about course history. It's not Dustin Johnson. It's not Justin Thomas. It's not Xander Schauffele. The player with the lowest scoring average at Kapalua in the field is Hideki Matsuyama. 68.58 scoring average here in this tournament. Never finished worse than 4th in 3 starts. Finished last year 2nd in strokes gained tee to green. There's just a lot to love except for the putter. So I'm back in on Hideki. Hadn't been there in a while. What do you think about him, man?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got Xander highlighted. I've got Patrick Reed highlighted, and I've got Hideki highlighted simply from the fact of course history alone, because that's what I told you already that I'm basing most of my information on for this one. And man, there's a lot to love about Hideki because, here's what we got with Hideki. He'll play like 55 holes of a tournament. You're like, God, how's this guy not number 1 in the world? And then, he'll play the other 20. Like, God, how's this guy on tour? So, I like his game. It just seems like that. Like, I mean, if anybody can be 8 under par going to 18 and hit one and snap hook it in the woods, it's him.
Yeah, it's kind of, and we can drop down to a player right below Hideki. It's kind of the Tony Finau thing, right? Excellent player, extremely consistent, the kind of guy you want on your roster, but he's just not been logging wins. I think the last time he won was in 2017 at the WGC Bridgestone. Didn't seem like he had a great year last year, honestly, but when you dig into the stats, he was actually very, very good tee to green, excellent around the green, which is kind of surprising. but the putter's just so hit and miss that's why those wins haven't been there for Hideki. And you can say the same thing for Tony, a guy we've kind of went round and round with, a guy that I really like, but I've kind of grown frustrated with because the wins aren't there. So I would kind of clump Tony and Hideki in the same boat there. Though I do love the course history with Hideki. And it feels like, if he can get the putter going, he's handled these Bermuda greens very, very well in his previous trips, obviously. So you feel like if he can get the putter going, this might be kind of a come out of nowhere win for him.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. It won't be coming out of nowhere because we talked about him on the Turn Fantasy Golf Pod. But yeah, I
That's
agree.
right.
I agree. Dropping down to the 8,000 now. We'll go ahead and mention everybody here. 8,000, you got Abe Answer, 8,100, Adam Scott, Sanjay M at 82, 83, you got Joaquin Needham, Cam Smith at 84, 85, Scheffler, 86, Berger, 87, English, 88, Morikawa, and Finau, like you said, at 89. There's a lot of talent right here. At first glance, I'm almost like I either want to play everybody in this price range or don't want to play anybody. There's one player to me that sticks out that I will be I'm putting a star next to, maybe two, and that's Joaquin Needham. I don't know how many times he's played here, maybe once, probably. I think so. Yeah, tied for fifth, 8,300. That's pretty good value on him. I feel even in this field, that would be. It's not that I don't like everybody here because I can totally see a Harris English or Daniel Berger finishing like second or even winning it. And the talent at Finau and the rest of the guys on this. I think if we're going to be up rostering guys in the 9,000s, even the 10,000s, we're not going to have any room for anybody in the 8,000s on our teams. What do you think about that, Joe?
Yeah, really fair point. You kind of feel like you got to pick your poison this week. And get really aggressive since it is a no-cut event. But it might be a little bit contrarian to kind of lean on these 8K guys, and I think you certainly can if you want to. Really a lot to lock in there, Andrew, just like you said. Guy that jumps out at me is a guy we kind of ended the year down on last year. Colin Morikawa won the PGA Championship. After that, things kind of settled down. Didn't play extremely well. Lost strokes putting in his last 4 starts of 2020. But I like him to bounce back. I like him to come out strong this week. If he can make some putts, I feel like the ball striking is always going to be there with him. Strokes gained approach is a statistic we want to lean on this week, and we know Morikawa was one of the best iron players on tour. Had a T7 here in his debut last year, so I feel like Morikawa might go overlooked because of how he ended 2020, but I like going there. Scotty Scheffler is a bomber. You feel like this is going to be right down his alley. It's his debut here. And then a guy that we loved closing out 2020, Cameron Smith. How huge did that guy come up for us down the stretch last year? Had a runner-up finish at the Masters. Only played here once, had a T17, but has played very, very well in Hawaii. Won the Sony Open last year and has played great in that tournament throughout his career. He's an Australian. We know they play well in the wind. So I'm really interested in Cameron Smith. Really picked his iron play up to close out last year, and if he can keep that going, we know he's going to make putts and could be a real threat this week. And then another guy that played well at the Masters and just seems to do everything well, Sung J M. You just kind of wonder, are we going to get the Masters Sung J or are we going to get the post-restart Sung J? That's the only question with him, but you have to love his all-around kind of game. And then as you move down, it kind of thins out a little bit. I think the 8, 9s, and 10s are all full of excellent players. Obviously, there's good players in this field all the way down. They're champions and made the FedEx Cup Tour Championship, so they're excellent players. But I feel 8 and up is where this salary scale is the strongest. As we get down in the 7s, it kind of gets a little spotty.
I agree, but I think as we get down the 7s, it's going to be a lot easier and a lot easier to green light or red light somebody based on their abilities, what their strengths and weaknesses are. And like I said, since this field's so weak, we're going to talk about everybody. So 7,000s, Ryan Palmer, 7,000, Carlos Ortiz, 7,100, Brendan Todd, 72, 73 at Kokrak, 7,400, Mark Leishman. Very interested in Mark Leishman. I'll tell you why. 7,500 Munoz, Horschel, 76, Sergio past winner, 77, 7,800 Kisner, 7,900 Cameron Champ. So 7,000s, that's our group. I feel like out of the gate, number one, Leishman's going to be horribly owned in this field. However, he's got 2 top 10s here, and he's only 7,400. He strokes gain finish here at this tournament. He is 7th in the overall field. But I mean, I could see him being like 1% owned in this field. That's why I pointed him out specifically. However, like I said, for me, green lighting, Cameron Champ, even Sergio, as bad as I even want to say it out loud, Sebastian Munoz, Mark Leishman, Kokrak, everybody else is a red light for me in this price range.
Yeah, you hit on a couple of the guys that I was going to touch on, Andrew. I absolutely love Mark Leishman as well. I think he's going to gain a little steam as the week goes on because people are going to see the course history. People are going to know that he's had a little time off to get himself reset, and he did close out 2020 with the T13 at the Masters. Certainly his best outing since the restart. But I love Leishman. It's a terrific bounce back spot for him. He looked like he was in for a huge year last year. Won the Farmers, a runner-up at the Arnold Palmer, and the COVID break, the layoff just absolutely destroyed his game. So hopefully he's found something over the break. But I love Leishman. I think he's a great value and a great spot to bounce back. Another guy you mentioned, I very, very rarely play Cameron Champ, but I'm interested this week. He's played pretty well here. Had two starts at Kapalua, T14 and T11. But he closed out strong, closed out 2020 strong. He gained strokes tee to green his last 6 starts of 2020. Bermuda's his best surface. We know that there's plenty of room for him to bomb away here. So I really like Cameron Champ. I think I'm on that wagon this week. Sergio, I can kind of see it, but I don't go there myself, so that he's out for me. But yeah, those are my 2 favorites in the 7Ks, Leishman and Cam Champ. I like Ryan Palmer a little bit. What do you think about him? I know you like to play Palmer.
I do like Palmer, and what's crazy is his game never looks good on paper, but somehow he finishes 4th in the tournament, right? I mean, what was he got, like 3 top 5s at Torrey Pines, and that golf course doesn't fit his game at all. So, he's a win player though. So
yeah, he's a Texas guy. The type of guy that can get hot and just, like you said, post a random top 5, and that's really what we're looking for down here, man. We're just looking for upside, especially in this no-cut format. We're looking for upside and birdies, and you can even throw Carlos Ortiz in there if you want to start talking about some GPP plays with upside. Carlos Ortiz, the guy could finish dead last, or he could win this thing, and that's the truth. So I feel like Palmer and Ortiz there to close out the 7K range are really interesting. And then when you get down below the 7s, there's not a ton that I love. Even though this is a no-cut event, we're not scared to be aggressive. We actually want to be aggressive. But there's just not a ton down there that jumps out at me. I hope you can throw some names my way, man, because nobody's really jumping out under 7.
Okay, let's read off the 6,000s then. Richie Lewinsky, $6,000. Richard Streb, $6,000. Brian Gay and Swafford at 6,100, 6,200. Nick Taylor. I don't even know who this Landry guy is. That's how bad it is. Is it Andrew Landry? Yep,
Andrew Landry. You know Andrew Landry.
Andrew Landry at 6,300. Martin Laird, 64. Michael Thompson, 65. Stuart Sink, my man, 6,600. Kevin ain't got a prayer this week. 6,700. Mckenzie Hughes, 68. Lanto Griffin, 69. I got a few names I'll throw out there to you. What we know about Nick Taylor is he's a ball striker, but he's not a scorer. So I wouldn't say that he's a green light or nothing, but I don't hate him at 6,200 if you're having to fill a spot. Down here at 63 or less, he is definitely the one I would pick over the other 6. A guy who is going to be easily the number 1 value play, in my opinion, this week is Martin Laird, 6,400. Plays well here, hits the ball long ways, makes a lot of birdies on long courses. Courses wide open like this, he can just bomb away. So I like Martin Laird here. Unfortunately, we never know when the mid 2000 Martin Laird's going to show up, or the guy that can't literally make a 1-footer is going to show up. So other than that, Mckenzie Hughes to me is kind of a high flyer along with Lanto Griffin. Those are the other 2 that I would even consider putting in there. But Martin Laird is easily if you're putting your chips in on anybody down here in the 6,000s, it's got to be him.
Yeah, good call. I like Martin Laird. If I feel like you're throwing darts down here anyway, so I'd rather go with the guy that actually has some upside. We're not worried about missing the cut or really finishing position. We're looking for guys that can make birdies and have a chance to compete in this thing. And Laird does kind of stick out. Lanto Griffin down there. We know he's a quality player. Never seems to get a ton of pricing respect Draftkings wise. So I wouldn't mind a bit going with Lanto down there. Mckenzie Hughes, the guy never grades that well statistically, but he just consistently posted good finishes down the stretch last season. Made it to the FedEx Cup Tour Championship, and that's why he's here. So all these guys can play. There's no doubt about it, but no plays are really jumping out at me right now down there, man. So I agree with you. Kind of pick your poison. If you want to get aggressive, throw one of these guys in there. But I think you can make some really good lineups 7K and up this week. Even though that's a no cut, that's probably the line I'll be taking.
I got you. So we're going to move into our last segment of the show, and that is the unofficial official. Where's your heart at this week?
The heart play.
The heart play. You know, I used to kind of throw a bet out at the end. You know, I don't know. This seemed to catch on. So the heart play of the week for me, if I'm picking who we think's going to win, it's I like two players at the price that they're at, and I actually think one of them's a little bit overpriced. I think one of them should be a little bit higher, but I still like it where it is, and that's just because his ability to win this tournament. Patrick Reed 16-1. I think it should probably be 20-1 is where I've got it, but I still think his ability to win is probably inside that 16-1, probably more like 10-1. If he plays in this course 10 times, he's going to win it. So that's one, and definitely easily for me the best odds that you can get on a player's Morikawa 28-1. I will be all over that. So Morikawa 28-1. Patrick Reed 16-1. I imagine the Morikawa could come down. Maybe not, because he's not going to get much hype this week with the big dogs in there. But I mean, you gotta love his game on this field. Chipping is not going to be an issue here.
Yeah, I touched on Morikawa there, man. I do really like him this week, so he's my heart play as well. Both from a DFS perspective, and like you said, I think he's a great bet in this field where we don't have great odds because it is such a short stack field. Morikawa sticks out as a good bet to me. So I'm going with Morikawa. And the other heart plays, Leishman's bouncing back this week. I'm calling a top 10, and I like Cameron Champ. I never play him. I'm kind of pumped to roster him this week. So Morikawa, Champ, Leishman.
There you go, folks. So that this is going to be our show for the opening Sentry Tournament Champions week. For the East Coast guys, it's going to be good to get off work, have some dinner, sit on the couch, maybe have a few drinks, watch the tournament. That's usually what I do. I mean, it seems like, heck, the coverage don't come on till 6 Eastern, I think. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, man. I love this time of year. We get night golf.
Absolutely. And just like Joe said, stay tuned. Look, if you're going to be a premium subscriber this year, we're going to have stuff every day to read now. You can get on early, wake up early, drink you some coffee, read the article, and fire away on those one-day events. Anything else you want to say on the door, Joe?
Yeah, just that, man. We really hope you'll check out our premium package over at Rotoballer. Hope you'll take advantage of all the great stuff over there. Super pumped to be back. Glad you guys are joining us. We hope you'll like and share on YouTube. Subscribe, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. We're trying to build this thing up for you. We love doing it. Can't wait to get into the season with you. So thanks for checking us out.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I'm Andrew Purrs. That's Joe Nicely, senior editor at rotoballer.com, the Turn Fantasy Golf Podcast. See y'all later.
That was my first big mistake. I've already hit 3 in the lake. It's gonna drive